Britt and Mike, and this is our dog, Leah. We're converting our 2021 Ford Transit van into a home on wheels. Over the past few months, we've done our kill mat, insulation, wiring, and framing, and this week we are finally starting our wall paneling. Hi everyone!
Hi guys!
Welcome to episode 14 of our van build series. This week we are starting paneling!
Yeah, so I've already been to Lowe's and Home Depot this morning to pick up my 1/4 inch ply as well as some brad nails. I'm going with some 18 gauge, real short, I think 5/8 inch brad nails, and yeah, it should be fun.
I'm excited to put some walls in this space. Cover up all that insulation.
It's going to be really transformative.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. So since we're going to do paneling instead of like tongue and groove or something like that, I want to do my best to hide the seams. So on my first cut here that I'm gonna make, I'm gonna attempt to hide the seams behind what will be the closet, right? So the first seam's gonna come out to here, and then it's gonna run along down here under the bed, so that from the cab, it'll look like one big solid piece. That's my first goal. I think the way that I've decided to get these window cutouts for the boxes is I'm gonna cut the panel a little bit wider than I need to be. So if the panel comes to here, I'll have it come into the space a little bit on the inside. Same thing at the top, the panel will come down to like this, at the bottom like this, and over here, out here like this. So there will be like a nice 1 to 2 inch overlap. And then, I've never used it before, but I'm gonna take a router and go around all those edges and try to trim off all the excess. And I think that'll give me a nice finish where it's gonna go right to the edge of this box. And I don't have to worry about being perfect with the jigsaw when I'm cutting out this hole. That's my plan. But first, I gotta get some measurements. All right, so it'll be 56 inches from the back to the front. And I think I'm gonna use the whole panel, 48 inches, because the whole panel is 48 by 8 feet. 48 inches by 8 feet. So it'll come down like so. I'll just make one cut here, and then I'll have to jigsaw out a hole in the middle here for this guy. So 48 inches by 56 inches, 21 inches at least down from the top, about 8 inches in from the back, about 7 inches up from the bottom, about 4 inches in from the front. All right, let's give this a shot. One piece in place. Now all I have to do is router around these edges inside the box here, and it should look real nice. So I've got my router here. It's my first time using it, aside from about a 5-minute tutorial last night. So wish me luck. I've got a 1/4 inch finishing, like a flush trim bit, I think is what it's called. And what that should allow me to do is just go right along the inside of my box here and trim off all this excess that I have left over here. And then we should have like a nice solid frame all the way around this. Then I'll go through and throw in a few more brad nails along the edges. Okay, so I've got the hole routed out. It looks pretty good and everywhere where you're going to be able to see it. I did have some technical difficulties. I started my cut right here, came down, went along this edge, and then the router caught right here. It was just kind of stuck. So I pulled it out, saw that it left a little burn mark right here, and then I thought, okay, well, maybe I just had it at a funny angle. So I took it back over here because I didn't want to take it up the sides and mess up the sides or the top of this thing where it's going to be visible. This will be hidden under a mattress, so it's not a big deal. So I came back over here, Started again right here, came down, and it started cutting fine, but it was leaving this burn mark. So what I did was, on the very tip of this, there's a ball bearing right here that spins as you cut. So I actually took this apart and oiled it, put it back together, and then came back and finished the cut. It didn't really have any other issues. It started to catch right here again, but I just let it cool down for a second and then came back and finished up this last cut to the end here. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and sand these edges a little bit and put a few more brad nails in here around the edge of this because I don't want there to be any lifting. I'm gonna consider it a success even though we had some issues, because like I said, that stuff's not gonna be visible, and even if it were, I would just put some trim over it or something. Okay, so on either side of the bed, we're gonna have a night light and an outlet with an outlet attached to it. So I'm gonna put one right up in here and right up in here. So I just gotta drill my holes for that and run my wires through so that when I put other pieces on the wall, I can still get to the wire. Okay, so yesterday I left off at this panel here. Today I'm gonna start with the panel that goes from here all the way to here, about midway through this board. The only thing is I want to reinforce this wall a little bit because this right here doesn't matter, it's our closet. I'm not concerned about that. But right here it's going to be the bathroom area, and I just don't want someone to lean on the wall or something like that in the bathroom, or trip over something and put a hole in the wall or crack it or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and reinforce that with a board just like one of these guys. It's going to go from here down to here. So up next is this section right here. This one's gonna be tough, guys. From here to the front, it's about 48.5 inches. So I'm gonna first cut out my plywood to that size, and then I'm probably going to trace around this with cardboard or paper or something like that, and just try to get this shape out as good as I can. Trace that out on my ply, and then cut the whole piece out. This should come down to about right here, which hopefully will give me enough room for my router to get in there. If not, I might have to start on the bottom, like cut it out a little bit with like a saw, and then go through with the router just like I did on the back box, and just route all that area out. The good news is there's no electrical here, so how I had to pull cords through over here, I'm going to have to pull a bunch of cords through down here, and a couple down in these little spaces here. I won't have to do that here at least, so that's positive. Okay, status update. I've been working on a stencil here out of paper bags. I've trimmed it around the edges, and then I've actually used some masking tape up around the corners here to kind of tighten up the areas where I might have overcut a little bit. And then I'm going to transfer this to cardboard, cut it out. It should pop right into place here, and then I'll have a nice template to use to put on my plywood. I really, really, really do not want to have to do this twice, so hopefully this works. Oh man, I hope I get this right. I have nothing nice to say about what I'm going to do if this doesn't work.
Ready to go test it out?
Yeah, let's do it. mostly good. I'll just need to add a little bit right there.
I feel like that's just the catchphrase of van building though. Mostly good. It's mostly good.
I can live with it.
I can live with it and I will live with it.
Pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Fancy piece of engineering, huh?
That is awesome, Mike.
Thanks. Okay, so now that I've got the piece cut out around all the funny stuff in the corner, it's actually a little bit too long to just router around the box in the bottom. So I'm gonna cut a big square out of the bottom here so that when I put the router in, the bit doesn't touch the back of the box and damage it. So we should be able to get a nice clean routed edge from the rest of the way up, and then on the bottom, I'm probably gonna have to take a saw, a little hacksaw or something like that, and just trim up the last of it. That's where we're at. It's getting dark, but I want to do my best to get all this done today. So at least this, which is undoubtedly the hardest panel I'm gonna have to do, will be done today. Very excited. You have forgotten about me. All right, so I've got this piece tacked into place. Now all I got to do is grab the router and router out the edges of my box, just like I did on the back boxes, or the back box, not the side. That shouldn't take me very long, but it is very messy, so I'm gonna try to set up some stuff to manage some of the mess. We'll see how that goes. Okay, time to go ahead and router this out. I went ahead and put up some plastic because this thing makes quite a mess. And it looks like my router is going to fit all the way around to the bottom where I was kind of concerned it wouldn't reach before. So that's very good news. Hopefully this only takes a minute, and hopefully it goes better than my first one. I'm so happy that worked. Never mind my 4 eyes here. I don't know if the camera is doing this justice, but I've got sawdust all over my head, all over my arms. I'm sure it's all over my back. The floor, absolutely covered in sawdust. Plastic sheeting did a great job, but still got some on the seat, and even somehow got some on this driver's door over here. I know this wasn't a perfect tape job over here. That's impressive to get that much over there. But overall, I am very pleased with how this came out. What's up, guys? It is the next day. Here's a look what we've got so far. The paneling looks real nice. Really happy with how it's coming out. I'm gonna get started on this lower half here and work my way back. I'm not concerned with where the seams are gonna be on the bottom here because everything down here is gonna be hidden, from the bed, the closet, the bathroom, and then the bench will be down here. So these seams are not super important, so they're not going to line up exactly with these ones because I'm going to use the scraps that I have left over from my previous cuts. And then once we're done over here, we can jump in on this side. Okay, so I got my first piece for the bottom cut and fitted. I've got my holes ran for my cables. And now all I gotta do is tack this guy into place. There is a little discrepancy, I'll show it to you. Right here, it doesn't quite meet up flush with the panel in the front, or the top, because down here it's rubbing a little bit. And because this wall at the bottom goes in past this protruding metal piece right here, I can't get it to go all the way in the corner. That's fine. What I'll probably do is just take a piece of trim and just staple it over this whole edge. You'll never know the difference. All my other seams actually meet up really well. Let's go ahead and tack this thing up. So I'm on to the next section here and show you what I'm up to. So you can see here, I've got to work around this little pillar here and also the wheel well. My next piece is going to be approximately 43 inches, which will come out to about here. And this is what I've come up with for a quick, easy stencil. Good morning, another status update. It is now Friday. I've been working on the paneling in the van for 4 days and left last night feeling a little defeated. Had some mistakes were made. Basically, when I was measuring the panel that I was last cutting out, which is this guy right here, this is a remade version of what I was working on because I made an incorrect measurement for this stupid little cutout. And when I did that, I would have had to move it and it would have left a gap on either side from the mistake, and it would have also messed up where my wheel cutout was. So basically, the piece that you saw me working on is trash. It's at the very least scrap. Maybe I can salvage some of it, but can't use it right here. So I had to use my other piece that I was planning on using for this section back here for here. And I actually remade this one pretty fast. Alright, let's go ahead and throw this piece in, and it looks like since I used that other piece of scrap that I had for this back corner, we're going to skip that back corner for now, and we're going to jump into this box area behind me. So another little hiccup. When I went to put this panel on, I got it most of the way stapled in, but there's one corner that's not quite going flush to the rest of the wall. I mean, when you're framing out a van, the slightest little curve or whatever in your wood can make things not line up just right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shim it out, and then I'm going to put a couple brad nails through the shim, and that should hold the panel in the right angle so that they all basically meet at the same point. So I'll show you what that looks like. As you can see here, when I shim it out, the panel meets up perfectly right here in the corner. Without the shim, it kind of goes in a little ways there. These things are super cheap. You can get them at any hardware store, and that'll just help it line up. And then I'll just make sure I put my brad nails through the shim as well as the rest of the sheet like it already is. So that should work fine. I'm just going to cut off the excess here because I don't want this piece to stick out further than this piece. Look at that. So similarly to the first box that I built, I've cut my sheet behind me to the exact same length, and I went ahead and traced the outline for my box with a little bit of room for play all the way around on the sheet, and now I'm going to cut it out with a jigsaw. Oops. And then we can put it in the van and, just like before, router out all those edges so it'll be a nice clean finish.
Hi everyone! I feel like I haven't really been around this week just because work has been so busy for me, but I'm here and I'm really excited about the progress on the walls. It's pretty funny because when you look at the walls, like before we put the panels up, you can see all the work we did. Like, oh, we insulated, we did the kill mat, we did the wiring, we put up the studs, and then it's like, oh yeah, we put some wood up in our van. Like, it almost like erases all the like visible progress, but that's what we want because we want it to look like a house. So I'm just really excited.
All right, so just like you saw me do on the other side, now I'm gonna router out this side and hope and pray for better results.
Did I catch some sawdust? I can't tell.
That went better. The trick is to get real close so all the sawdust just gets on top of you. And now we have enough sawdust to line a hamster cage. Alright guys, so we made quite a bit of progress on the paneling this week, as you can see behind me. We didn't quite finish it though, so we're gonna go ahead and end the vlog here and pick us up next week if you'd like to see the finished product. It's gonna be really cool. Alright, see you next week. Bye guys.